We All Famous with Simbo and my special guest,
Especially
Miss
me.
Kermeshea Evans. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Well, we're approaching 30 years of marriage. This is episode 8, by the way. So,
Episode 8. So let's pause there. It took 8 episodes for you to bring me on as a special guest.
and
Would you?
I
Fine.
mean, you and
We're
you
not
and
going to
you.
even get into that right now.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll take the number 8. It represents infinity. That's good enough for me. So let this be your new beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you and your Kamisha fan base, your friends said y'all was on social media clowning me, so I had to go ahead and make it happen. But
So
anyway,
wait, you succumbed to peer pressure?
I did.
Okay.
But I'm glad.
I need to use that in my favor in some other ways.
It worked this time.
Okay.
Maybe I get some good ratings. But by the way, if this your first time watching We All Famous, please like, subscribe, and share, and join the family. We welcome you.
Join the family.
Well, again, like I say, we're approaching 30 years of marriage, and it's been a ride. I can't ask for a better partner. You know what I'm saying? And you just the greatest.
So you say, Sydney.
So, what do you think made our marriage last this long?
I think first and foremost, we don't try to emulate someone else's marriage. We do
Right.
what works well for us. And by emulate, I don't mean that we don't draw inspiration from others who have, inspiring marriages, but we don't try to make our marriage fit into the mold of what someone else has built for their lives, right?
Right.
And at the core of who we are really friends. Like we share similar interest, and we share, our own personal interests, but our communication has never been so void that we weren't able to effectively communicate with one another without bringing in someone else into our marriage.
Yeah.
This is
don't
gonna
don't go
sound
tell your homeboys about your wife and your marriage, man. Go ahead.
well. You do tell Gerald things.
Nah, it's trivial. So go
Trivial.
ahead.
Okay. So, and I'm kidding. He doesn't tell Gerald things. He only tells Gerald when I have too many Amazon boxes coming to the door. So,
The cap is real. But go ahead.
yeah. So, but I think that in that we are. There's a thing about valuing what you have, right? And if you value what you have, you can maintain what you have, and it can yield you benefits that are lasting in the future, right?
Right, I understand. Well, a lot of people say they think, our marriage is perfect. We don't argue. It's just everything is roses and,
Well, I
sunshine.
believe there's 2 reasons for that. Number one, we aren't in public arguing with one another. We aren't beefing on Facebook, and we don't allow
No,
others into the intimacy of our marriage.
right.
The second reason is because we know how to effectively communicate with one another. There's I in the space where I trust you with my life. That also means I can trust you with the innermost parts of my thoughts and feelings, right?
Right.
And so I'm never apprehensive to tell you exactly how I feel about something.
And you do.
I do,
Right.
but it's not like you don't.
Right, but
Okay.
that's, honesty is the best policy,
Right.
Uh,
And in that telling one another, there is I don't want to say commitment, but there is a level of commitment, but there's also a desire to say, let me make the necessary adjustments so that this situation or whatever this issue is that's bothering one or the other is rectified. I think that what a lot of people miss in the formative years of marriage, in that time where you're learning one another beyond the dating phase, is that you have to give your spouse the capacity to the grace and the capacity to evolve and grow.
well, what a lot of people don't know, I almost quit you.
You almost what?
Quit you.
Oh, okay. When was that?
I can't remember the year, but I came back home. 'Cause,
You
I'm
came
like-
back home?
Yeah, I'm like,
Did
oh,
you
nah.
leave?
I left.
Did I know?
Nah, I
That's
said
hilarious.
almost. You know, but
Okay.
that was a
Okay.
long time ago.
All right.
But
All right. Well,
what
I'm
you
intrigued. I'd like to know what I did.
we'll expound on it after this little thing. But let me ask
Okay.
you this: what was our last argument about? Do you remember?
I do remember our last argument, and I wouldn't even call it an argument. It was just a spirited debate,
All right.
and it was about um, you writing a description for the podcast, and you used the word societies as a plural, and I didn't think that societies had a plural. Um, what is it available to use? I mean that it was. I just didn't think it
Well,
was correct grammar.
I'm not gonna say what school district you went to, but well, I'm at Eisenhower.
It happens to be top
when
echelon.
when I attended, I don't know about now, but when I attended, we was top 5 academically. But anyway,
Wow.
I appreciate you immediately when you Googled it and found out
When
it was right.
I trusted Google.
Right,
Yes.
and you found out I was right.
You were right.
You actually was
Take
right.
your win.
I will, but
Don't gloat in your
But
win.
what I'm trying to let people know is that you told my little description down.
I
You
did.
criticized it because you was low key mad that I did.
Would you
something.
rather have placed it out into the atmosphere with the potential that it was incorrect and have someone
Well,
else to criticize it?
First of all,
Don't first of all me.
First of all, I have command of the Queen's language again.
We don't speak the Queen's
And,
language. This is
so
America.
I have command of it. So I don't have a problem with writing, but that is your thing. You are the author. You have a good skill.
I wasn't even trying to flex my skills though. I was just trying to make sure it was correct grammar.
Yeah, but it was right. You didn't have. It's nothing you could have
But
changed.
okay, but after I acknowledged that
I
it was
take my
right.
win. I take
Okay,
my
thanks.
win.
I
take my
appreciate
win.
that.
Well,
Appreciate
a lot of people, a lot of my homeboys, they always say, "Man, your marriage is an institution," And at first they used
an
to bother
institution like the United States government,
me. Nah, like if,
like a
if,
university.
No, like if we broke up, it would be a lot of people hurt. And at first, I don't try to do that. We just live. But
I wouldn't. I don't know that I even recognize that. Like,
that's what I'm saying. So
Okay.
it's apparently we doing something right. So, like I say, I'm happy and I'm glad that I got to spend this last 29 plus years with you. I wouldn't change it for the world.
how special. Do you want me to say it back?
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't change it for the world.
yeah, I mean, but you should be thankful
I should be thankful to who? You?
that God put me in your life.
Oh,
You
okay.
should be thankful.
I
'Cause
am.
I'm thankful.
I am grateful. I am grateful.
I'm thankful and grateful that I'm in yours and you in mine. However that go.
Mhm.
But next, how are you enjoying the podcast? We Are Famous.
I think it's cool. It's you've touched on some interesting topics. You should have had me earlier. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, you and your mob, y'all kind of got you on the show,
Wow.
so just keep it going. Look, I hope they support this, even if you're not on there. But it's all good.
Right.
But one thing I do want to say about Kermeshea is that she's never been. I don't want to say materialistic because we can see what kind of shades are those.
That's unfair.
Okay, I'm just being. They make mine look cheap. They make mine look
And
cheap.
we both know they aren't. You asked me to come outside to film this. You know that my eyes water in the wind.
Well, okay.
So I had to block
let's
that.
stay on topic.
Okay,
one thing I do appreciate about you wasn't a very shallow person,
Mhm.
and a lot of girls, especially back then, it was about things. And you were very blessed when I met you, so you could have been easily, all about things, but you wasn't. You had some kind of depth to you, and that was appreciated.
You speak of that in the past tenses, like as if it's not
people,
relevant
people
today.
still say that Kermeshea is brilliant, and I be like, yeah, she is. She's very smart. You're a very smart girl.
Where are we going with this?
I want my credit.
Okay, you want your credit?
I mean, you've been with me this long. You can't tell. I want my credit.
Okay.
I need you to put it on wax.
I will give you your credit. I will say that honestly that I don't think that I would have the confidence that I have in my career were it not for you, right? And
Uh,
this is you just seem so disingenuous right now,
no, no,
but
I'm serious.
but anyway,
I
but
appreciate it.
I it is when things went left in my life, it was really just me and you, right? And I
Right.
think that a part of what people see as an institution is that we have such a bond that it's not penetratable. And people have tried, right? Like they've tried to come in between us, and there's no way to get that done. Because if you say something about me to him, he gonna direct you back to me. If you say something about him to me, I'm gonna direct you back to him. There's no, oh girl, let continue on with that. But back to the topic, I think that you the career that I have is because you sacrificed some things to make sure that I was able to regain myself, and able to build something for myself that I could be proud of. And you stayed up at night with me to study for tests, and the certifications that I have are because you were my study partner. And I appreciate that. I think a lot of times women fail to recognize the goodness of having a partner that is really a partner, one that is both encouraging but also willing to step aside and let you get your shine. Recognizing that if I shine, you shine. If you
Right.
shine, I shine, because we are a reflection of one another.
Right.
I think that in you, I have something that is uniquely different, that most married women can either don't talk about having because they don't want other people to know, or they don't want their husband to seem like he is, um, what's the word?
Weak.
Maybe. But I don't think, but because I don't view it as weakness, I don't know if that's even the right
Well,
word. I think
the reason I brought it up is because a lot of guys, they might be successful, but like you say, a lot of times their marriage can't be successful because they're not paying attention to their mate, their spouse happiness, and
right.
what's important to that other person. Like you supported me when I first started my business. Whatever I needed, you were there for me the whole way. So why wouldn't I reciprocate that?
Right.
Why would I just want you to be, people use the word weaker vessel, but literally, why would I want you to be like your life's dreams you had to put on the shelf? Because
I don't mind being the weaker vessel.
that's
Let's get
not
that straight.
that's not what I meant. But
Okay.
and I said that in a sarcastic way
Okay.
because that's not what I meant. But a lot of times, one mate. I keep using the word mate. I really giving my age.
It's partner.
Well,
Now
one
it's
one
partner.
one partner doesn't pay attention to the other partner, and a lot of times they be in misery. That's why they can't be happy. We always put each other's happiness, you know, on display. But I can't literally make you happy. You have to be,
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily that you're putting my happiness in front of yours, because it's my responsibility to be happy. I think that you prioritize what is meaningful to me. Um, and whether that is something that is as simple as, I want this color toaster in the kitchen. Or, like a couple of years ago, I told you I needed my kitchen was just not complete because I didn't have a KitchenAid, and 4 days later the KitchenAid arrives. It is because
yeah,
those things that I say to you are important to me. You don't just hear them; you acknowledge them, and you make it a priority to make those things happen. As the same way that I would do for you. And I think that having something like that is pretty special, because I know people who are searching for something like that. So I think that, you got the right one.
well, yeah, I do have the right one, and I'm glad about that. But you know, it's we have kids, and a lot of people they don't know how to. What's the word I'm looking for?
parent and be married at the same time.
parent and be married at the same time. Let me give you an example. So when my kids started playing little league football, I was deep into trying to push music and do all that, and I just seen it clear as day. I had to push back from that because my family became first, and that's another thing. A lot of times, you chasing your dreams, and your whole family is suffering, and so you gotta balance that, man. And
Yeah, and I think that what people don't realize is that if you prioritize things in the order that God has established for us, the rest is going to fall into place,
right,
right? That full life prosperity that you're looking for, where you got, you know, God, a successful marriage, you've raised healthy, responsible children, you've
they get
got
on
the
your nerves
successful,
though. They get on your
yeah,
nerves.
Lord.
They get on your nerves.
I don't know. I'm thinking that parenting adult children is a bridge that one might not want to cross too soon. But
They're different.
they are
Yeah,
different.
they're different.
Yeah, but I think that order it's kind of like that top down effect where you prioritize the things that matter, right?
Right.
And then the things that you need to add to that are just going to come by way of you focusing on building a good foundation. And that foundation, when I say that, is like, even when I talk about you helping me to study for certifications, but our children also had to recognize the end goal in that too, because there were nights that they didn't get, mom in the kitchen cooking a dinner. They had to. We used to have Fend for Yourself Wednesdays. Remember that, where
Yeah.
they had to
Yeah.
prepare their own dinner for the week. But in doing that, it taught them a life skill that they know how to cook for themselves and make sure that they have what they needed nutrition wise. So I think that a lot of people miss out on the opportunity of what you would call bliss, because they're looking for fulfillment of that, to get to that level of bliss in the wrong
Yeah,
places and
they looking in the wrong
spaces.
place. Give you another example. This kind of on subject. You make me stay on subject. You'll go back and say, Simi, that didn't make no sense.
Mhm.
Well, one thing
I'm
you
just here
can't
for
do.
that.
One thing you can't do also, like for instance, it was a long time Kermeshea didn't have a car, and other couples will have cars, and you might hear the wife say, "Why don't you get Kermeshea a car?" Well, she don't want a car.
I did not want
You
a
know what
car.
I'm saying? So, we
And
don't.
quantify long time, because people may think, oh, she didn't have a car for 2 or 3 years.
Nah,
I
she didn't
literally
have.
did not have a car from 2004. No, 2001 until 2019.
Yeah, well, she didn't went car crazy in the last 2 years.
Make it up for lost
Give her a
time.
round of applause
Yay.
because when you see her, but I appreciate her. I want to say pressure, but she never looked at somebody else's situation and was like, "I gotta have that also," because she didn't want it. So when you move and you're not a follower,
Right.
you're living your life for you. Happiness comes from that, man. And it's difficult in today's time because of all the social media and all the, every chick got this and that, and it's all make believe.
If we're being completely honest, right? Like, social media will put you in the headspace, if you allow it to, where you start to compare your life to others, right?
Right.
And I think that what you should draw from that, instead of looking at it saying, why can't I have this? What do I need to do to gain this that I want, right? If you
Right.
truly want that. And a lot of times people stir in discontentment when all they need is to take some necessary steps to move forward to gain what they really want in life. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, when was it? Maybe about 2016. We were doing okay, but I just was like, man, I just wish we had $1,000 extra a month for me to take care of this, that, and the other, right? And I
Well,
wrote a list.
let's put that in perspective because I
Okay.
don't want people to think. Yeah, look, we were going through. I'm just gonna put it out there. We were going through bankruptcy,
Right.
and it was rough.
Rough.
It was rough. And we don't even, it's the first
And
time.
it wasn't a Chapter 7 bankruptcy where you just file your debts and walk away. It was really like we were making these humongous bankruptcy payments every month.
And so, it was rough. So it wasn't like we.
It was tighten up your seatbelt time.
Yeah.
For all
but
the
go ahead.
choices
I didn't
in
mean
life.
to cut you off.
Yeah, so I wrote a list and I put it on the bathroom wall on the window in our bathroom, and that list. Well, I wouldn't even call it a list. It was just like a daily mantra that I can absolutely repeat right now without even seeing it. It just basically said that I am a wise, savvy financial planner. I make good financial decisions for me and our household. I have money stored away in several places to take care of the needs of our family and the wants and desires. I use credit cards wisely, and whatever I spend on a credit card, I have the money to pay back immediately. God is the head of our finances. He is the provider, and he will continue to bless the work of our hands, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
So that stayed on the mirror from 2016 until probably maybe 3 weeks ago when we were getting the bathroom painted.
Yeah, and the tripped out part about it, it all come to pass, but we still need to work on that. Use the credit card wisely thing.
I do use my credit cards wisely.
Yeah,
I pay the bills.
you pay them, but you need to back up.
Okay. Well, maybe we change that confession to say I don't use my credit cards.
Please change that one.
All right. But anyway, what I'm saying is that 2016 until date, right? Like when it was time to take that off the mirror, I really, in that moment, realized we already live in this.
Did you feel like you arrived?
I didn't feel like I arrived. I felt
like this actually works.
This actually worked.
And this came to pass.
Like it came to pass, and I'm living it, and I don't even didn't even stop to. I'm grateful every day. I'm grateful every day. Like I wake up every morning, and I'm just in awe of where we come from to where we are today. So I'm absolutely grateful. But I don't think that I really just sat in and realized that I confessed this into our life. I believed God for this, and this is we are living, proof of what we are, of that commitment to that. But it wasn't just me saying it out of my mouth. It was also me making those adjustments and making that, strategic moves in my career to get me to different places so that what I was wanting was going to become a reality. And I think that's the part of faith that a lot of people miss. They just sit back and think, if I say it, then God's going to make it happen.
It's not
right?
a lottery.
Yeah, it's not the lottery. It's not a slot machine. It is that work that you got to put in on yourself. And, it's even things like emotional intelligence. It's not just financial, it's emotional intelligence, because the emotional intelligence bleeds into my financial intelligence, because I am an impulsive buyer. That's what I do.
Oh my God.
It makes me happy.
Well,
so I have to control my emotional intelligence in that aspect.
Look, she did that. So fellas, look, the moral of the story, choose smart, man. I told you.
Ladies too.
I have a real.
Because you got a choice in that matter too. So choose smart.
Well, look, Miss Kermeshea Evans, we are out of time.
It's just an A on the end. There's no R.
That's the inside joke. Okay. I appreciate you joining me on the We All Famous podcast.
Well, I appreciate you having me. Next time.
Yeah, we'll be next time. And
yay.
I keep people abreast of what our other podcasts will be, and we can expound some more on these things. And if you enjoyed the video, share it, like it, subscribe. This is Simbo, and this has been We All Famous.
Bye-bye.
Acer, no chaser. Yeah. Bitch, we told him.